So what does the future hold for Guild Wars 2? Guild Wars 2 is a game that is now almost 13 years old. It's really old, but it still is very good. That is, I would say, almost undebatable. But the question is, how does it continue? How does Guild Wars 2 actually develop in the future? Of course, I'm not a developer at ArenaNet, so I can't tell you for sure. But I will give you in this short video my opinion on how I think the future of Guild Wars 2 will turn out to be. I of course also want to know your opinion in the comments as well. As always, special shout out to all my supporters on YouTube, Twitch and Patreon that help me keep the lights on. And now, let's start with the current situation. In Guild Wars 2 currently we get an expansion every year. So it started with Soto that we have smaller expansions, but they give us an expansion every year instead of every 2 years or even higher. But those expansions not only come with the expansion and then we get nothing for a year. No, we get a content patch every 3 months after the expansion. So we have at, so to say, month 0, we get Soto, Chantai Wilds. And then 3 months later, we get the first patch. Another 3 months later, we get the second patch. And another month, 3 months later, we get the third patch. And then we will go into the next expansion after that. This is the current expansion cycle. And this is what they are currently planning to do with the next expansion as well, as far as I know. The next expansion is going to take place in October instead of August, which is the normal release date for Guild Wars 2 expansions, because they delayed it. So Guild Wars 2's expansion, the 6th one, we don't know the name yet at this point, will be in October instead of August. So this will probably mean that they just need more time to develop it. Personally, I think that's a good thing because that's just better product for us as the customers, but it will also mean a longer drought after the next update, the last Chantai Wilds update. So in general, I think the expansion cycle clearly shows that they just produce a little bit less content for just 1 year of an expansion. We get some maps, we get some content with it, and we get, for example, a fractal with a CM this time. We got a new raid, we got convergences, so there is some stuff there, but I feel like we don't get the big amount of content drops that we got, for example, with Heart of Thorns, with 4 big full-fledged expansion maps that also have crazy amount of meta events in there and just a lot of long-term playability. And I play to this day. It's a little bit different with Chantai Wilds. Look at the new map that we got last update. It's just quite dead for the most part, which is quite sad, but it might get revived with the backpack that comes out. But overall, I feel like the expansions lead to a very, so to say, jumpy, very fluctuating playstyle. So you would always play when the expansion or the update comes out for 1, 2, maybe 3 weeks, and then you are through with all the content and you leave again, which is not a bad thing, but it's definitely not keeping you playing like the Heart of Thorns and Part of Fire expansion, where you just played a lot to actually get all the stuff done. And if you are done, then you would actually get the next update already. That's not really the case anymore. So my hot take now here is that the expansion 6 that will come out is actually the last. I'm pretty sure that the last expansion will be the next one. Why is that? Because I think they are currently working on an unannounced project in the background that will get even more attention. So currently I feel like only a fraction of the Guild Wars 2 developers are solely working on Guild Wars 2 right now. Most of them are also working on an Unannounced Project. And I feel like this will get more. So they will put more attention on the Unannounced Project. And that means that the expansion 6 will come out quite surely in October and has crazy features with it. And we get another year of content like Chantai Wilds and Soto. But after that, we are not sure. Just my take, I think expansion 6 will be the last. So what do I expect of expansion 6? I expect a few new maps, like Chantai Wilds and Soto brought us with the whole cycle. We get some new story, and we get one new fractal and probably 1 new convergence. That's my guess. I don't expect them to deliver a new raid. I feel like the raiding community didn't recover as much as they expected it to from the Raid Wing 8 release, and I feel like they put a lot of effort into that. I don't say it's bad, I'm just saying it's not very likely that we get another one. I feel like it didn't pay off too much. So I feel like they invest more time into the new fractal and the convergence. That's my prediction. But we will also get new combat features. What could it be? My educated guess on the situation, what it will be, the combat feature, is 1 new core trade line at most, or a new set of core utilities. Yeah. I don't think we will get a new expansion with new weapons. There's not a lot of design space left to actually make that realistic in my opinion, and also not a lot of weapons left for a lot of classes. That's my take. I feel like giving us one core trait line is a very nice thing to actually increase the playability of class as well. You can mix and match with every elite spec then and a lot of weapons. That would be cool. But I feel like that's a lot of balancing, and maybe that's not what they want to do. So maybe giving us a new set of core utilities is more likely. So for example would be giving us cantrips for Mesmer, or giving us Wells for Guardian. Something like that. That would be core, and you can use it on a Dragon Hunter, and you can use it on a Willbender, for example. And that would make, for example, it easier to fill some niches that you couldn't previously fill. For example, on Elementalist, when you play Catalyst, you are very locked down into some utility skills, and giving us core utility skills that are also supportive makes it way better to actually play Catalyst as a support. Something like that. They could also fix holes that are currently missing. That, for example, giving Necromancer an elite signet, because Necromancer has access to signets as utilities and healing skills, but doesn't have an elite signet, something like that. They could fill holes like that. Just giving us some combat features that are not too crazy, but they could fill niches that we had before. I don't expect the 6th expansion to bring us new class, because some people asked. That's very unlikely. I think that will never happen in Guild Wars 2, especially not in Expansion 6. Like I said, we will probably not get any new weapons, and I highly doubt actually new elite specs, even though they didn't specifically mention that it will not happen at all anymore. But I feel like it's very unlikely. The balancing that they already do is quite on the edge, and I feel like having more elite specs will not improve the situation and will cause more balancing problems. I think no elite specs is quite sure as well. And I personally, that might be also a hot take, I think it's not very likely that we will see a new race in Guild Wars 2. I think that's just, the game is too old for that. I think they already have way too much stuff out. Even though it might revive the game to some extent, I think a new race is quite unlikely. Maybe I'm wrong there, maybe I'm completely off, and we will see in a few months if I'm completely wrong on that. Maybe we have to go back and laugh about this video, but right now I think that's actually my take. Of course, let me know in the comments as well what you predict will happen with the 6th expansion, but now let me quickly talk about what I think is actually happening in the background. So in the background, we know quite certain that they are currently working on something. We don't know what it is. It will be some kind of unannounced project, that much is for sure. They will probably tell us at some point if it actually leads to something, and they don't cancel it before it's already released. It might be a Guild Wars 3, to name drop it here. Yes, it might be, but we don't know anything about it. We have no information whatsoever. We can just have some clues what is actually going on. And I will do a video about it in the future, so be sure to subscribe for that. What I actually expect from the clues that we have, what will happen, and I have some more things to share here. But typically I would say Guild Wars 3 could be an MMO. It doesn't have to be, it could be anything. It could be an ARPG, it could be anything. And that's what I think Guild Wars 2's future looks like. We have Guild Wars 2 in a maintenance mode until Guild Wars 3 will come out. That's my big prediction. So we get the 6th expansion, and after that we get 3 more updates, and then we get Guild Wars 2 in a maintenance mode. We get some events going, but we don't get any big content releases anymore. And in this time, and already, they are working on, my prediction is Guild Wars 3, or for sure the Unannounced Project. If it's an MMO, it will be a long time until it releases. Maybe we get some early access for that, but will definitely be until 2027 in my opinion, maybe even longer, until we get some kind of information or the early access at earliest for Guild Wars 3. Maybe Guild Wars 2 and Guild Wars 3 will run in tandem, so we get updates for both of them, but I feel like that's very unlikely as well, because they just don't have enough developers for that. We don't know, of course, if it will be an MMO. Maybe if it's some kind of RPG only, then maybe it's easier to actually keep both of them updated. Could be, but we don't know. Again, I'm very interested to know your opinion in the comments as well. But that's enough for this video about what I think does the future hold for Guild Wars 2. Be sure to subscribe for my dedicated video about what will actually happen and my predictions for Guild Wars 3. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like. As always, special shout out to my supporters on YouTube, Twitch and Patreon. Thanks a lot for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next video.